So the biggest issue I have
Okay.
is how this work and like what you say seems so similar to what my dating coach used to say. So like when I was working with him, he used to say, "Oh, you are not putting in much effort, or you are not doing this, or you're not being sincere," and then like that's why you're not making progress and those kind of things.
Have you heard
And
me say that?
because you said that unless you are really sincere, unless you are really put in a lot of hard work,
How long ago did I say that to you?
not gonna happen.
How long ago did I say that to you? It's true, but that's about that. That's a tennis coach talking to you about playing tennis. Do the whole thing again. Let's talk about tennis. Unless you put in the work, unless you what else did they say? Those crazy bastards. In other words, what I'm telling you is you're making this all too difficult. I mean, you should just relax and learn what you need to learn. But everything you just said about your prior coaches, you should believe me. You should trust me. The reason you're not succeeding is because you don't have enough motivation. You're not sincere enough. You're not doing enough work. You're not working hard enough. That sounds like a tennis coach, or a basketball coach, or a football coach, or a chess coach. I mean, what's the question?
And the same thing is what you also say for this work as well.
At this level, yeah. Until you wake up, yeah. Until you wake up, it's hard. It's hard work. I acknowledge. But then after you wake up, we're talking a whole different world, and I'm trying to help get you there. But before we can do that, you got to learn how to hold a racket, how to serve the ball, how to answer a volley, and what the rules are about getting the ball outside the lines and how many points in a game. And there's a lot of stuff you need to learn, including what to wear and how to act at, the Wimbledon, I guess. I don't know. So the point is that this is all very simple. What people don't like is they don't like to work. And that is deadly. Because you can't learn tennis, you can't learn piano, you can't learn this, you can't learn engineering unless you put in some work. So people come here and they imagine that somehow they're going to get it cheap or for free. Not from me and not from anybody else that I know of. Now you go to the fakers and you'll have a beautiful ashram. Maybe with some, Bentleys out front. There'll be thousands of people, lots of girls, lots of boys, everybody having a good time or whatever. But that's a fraud. And they're all over India, as you know. So, yeah, what's the question? Don't be shy. Just tell me the question.
So it just makes it sound that unless someone put in effort like a top level professional, like unless someone actually trains and put in effort equivalent to what Roger Federer put in, they won't get it.
Says who? Where did that come from? Who said that?
That's how it seems.
Jimi Hendrix didn't need a guitar teacher. Neither did Chopin. Right?
Sorry?
Do you know who Chopin is? Chopin. You should know who he is. He's a great piano player. Died at 30 or something like that. Great. Listen to the Chopin nocturnes if you can't fall asleep some night. Write it down. Chopin. 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 But it's in French.
I've heard his name, yeah.
Yeah, listen to the nocturnes. Okay, so again, I'm having trouble tracking here. What's the issue? There seems to be fear somewhere.
So usually with skill, what I have seen is as I make progress in any skill, or as I put in effort in any skill, the reward keeps coming slowly and slowly to keep me motivated to make more and more effort.
Now, how is that different from this work? How is our enterprise different than all the other projects?
But isn't that what Idrisha was also saying in that?
I don't know what Idrisha would say. I mean, he's a Sufi, number one, and he's talking to Sufis. Number two, we're not trying to be a Sufi. We're not trying to be a Buddhist. We're trying to get to the truth. Right? So, again, I want to keep going back because this is very useful. If there's some questions, those are the most useful things. So what are the questions? Because the worst thing in the world for me is somebody go, oh yeah, uh-huh. Oh yeah, I believe you. I believe it. I don't even want, if they believe me, that's even worse. I don't want people to believe me that way. Because belief is useless. Knowledge is what matters. So I want you to acquire knowledge. Now, the reason it's different is that there's no other endeavor that I know of where you can work at it for, a certain length of time. And then once you get to that one point, then you don't have to work anymore. You just coast. You just sail. Now, you got to have different problems. You have different situations you got to deal with, but it's effortless.
So the question is...
Non-regression is what it's called.
So the question is that I know that I haven't been the most sincere and I haven't put in the most effort, but I feel like I still have put in some effort.
Oh, and you think you should get some reward for some effort?
So that I can continue. Then otherwise, it's just the same as all the other things that you told me to stay away from. How is this different then?
Well, I thought you were interested in it. And it has a much longer yield. The yield is a lifetime.
So I'm not questioning like the objective. I'm questioning the path.
Which path? You haven't decided on one yet. You're still collecting information, my friend. You haven't started yet. Which path are you thinking of?
It just feels like they're the same shit.
I know, it's because your ego is the same shit. Your ego is just blocking everything. Everything. And now you're going to start using your miserable past as a rationalization for not facing your present. And that's just mind misery. You're creating a hell for yourself right now. I can see it. I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your mind doing it because as you get closer, it doesn't want you closer. I'm glad it's doubting me. That's good. That's healthy. But to compare me to your dating coaches, who were clearly taking advantage of foreigners, I wouldn't have guessed that. But okay, if that's how it's interpreted, that's how it's interpreted, and that's fine. I mean, I did my best. But I think that's a legitimate question. If that's how you see it, then I would recommend that you quit.
Mm-hmm.
With me anyway, and then go find out. You're living in California. I kept trying to figure out who's got more gurus, California or India.
Mm-hmm.
It just occurred to me, a lot of the California ones are Indians, so you could set up shop with there's fakers all over the place to set up shop with, and you'll be happy, and but the hour of death, that's what you got to worry about. Right?
No, I won't be happy by just going to a guru. I won't be happy until I see progress.
Well, you're not going to see progress until you make progress, and you're not going to make progress sitting on your ass not doing the work. And trying to expect some magical result from somebody else. I told you from the very beginning, that's not how anything happens. This is between you and God, you and truth. If any little bit I have to say can help you, good. If not, then we shouldn't waste time, because there are people who are interested, seriously interested.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be too later in your life. You just watch. You'll get everything you think you want.
I want. It's not that I want to wait. It's just that I don't know what to do.
Okay. About what?
So it just feels like that. Just like reading books is not cutting it.
Okay? Stop reading books. Don't read another page of a book. I want you to go out. And I want you to find some Hare Krishnas. I want you to dance with them for at least a couple of days, 3 days. And I want you to go talk to them about their religion and what they believe and why they believe it. Fair?
So I've spent time.
That's number one. Number two, I want you to go to a national park. I don't care where it is. And I want you to get in a fight with a game warden.
With
the game warden.
A game warden?
Yeah, just make something up. Say you saw an eagle somewhere and you saw some, I don't know, just it doesn't have to be a game warden. It could be somebody else. You need to get in a verbal altercation with an American.
Mm-hmm.
And keep control of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to get to work on your friggin' ego, man. That thing is that, it thinks it's running the show. It has no idea what it's doing. All it knows is I don't like this, or I don't understand this, and so pucks on all of it. But so start with those two, and then let's see how that goes. Don't read another book, but I want you to meditate. I mean, if you're going to meditate, you got to be meditating 2 hours a day, I would think, or at least an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need books. I gave you the books because they're easier. If you want to do it the hard way, you can do that too. You know, have you read any Indian text? Have you read what's his name? Read. Oh, what's his name? The Blue Pearl guy. Real sincere kid. What was his name? Muktananda.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the one? He gets all dehydrated and lets us know how he knows.
Let me look up Muktananda.
Is that his name?
No, I haven't read his book.
Well, you've got to start working, dude. Yeah, I mean, you should be an expert on this stuff. And so if you think that, it's like, oh, well, if I go to a surgeon, I just pay him the money, and then when I come out, I'm fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen with surgeons.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. And also, other things can happen too. But in this work, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's more like coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But if the player doesn't go to the field and doesn't suit up and doesn't do any of the exercise and doesn't do the practices, then that's fair. That's fine. The guy didn't want to be a football player. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. It works out for the coach and the players and the other players because he leaves a slot for somebody else.
So you are saying that I should just drop your desire to see the outcome immediately and just do.
Don't drop anything. Just stop paying so much attention to it. Stop acting like it's like the center of the universe because you thought something. Because it's not. Your thoughts are worthless, just like mine.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to act on your thoughts, most of them are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed or not agreed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's gives? So first get control of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And reading books isn't going to help you do that. At some point, you're going to have to say, you're reading cookbooks. Sooner or later, you're going to have to go in the kitchen. You're going to have to go to the grocery store, get the ingredients, bring them to the kitchen, peel them, wash them, parboil them, whatever you're going to do. Light up all the fires or whatever. Get all the sauces ready, and you're going to have to cook. And then you eat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just do cookbooks, you could do cookbooks for 20 years, and a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
But they never learn the joy of cooking for someone else or eating food that you've prepared yourself.
Mm-hmm.